language and popular culture.
Good day everyone. We are the Group 5 and today we will going to discuss the language and popular culture. Throughout this lesson, you will be able to learn what is language and pop culture, how they are related to each other, how pop culture affects our language, and how it influences us. So, let's start. Language and popular culture. Popular culture or pop culture refer to the systems and practices used by the majority classes in society. Language is changeable phenomena and pop culture is powerful source in this context. So kaning nga statement, kaning word statement nga language is changeable phenomena and pop culture is the powerful source in this context. So, this means that the pop culture affects our language on how we speak and pronounce words. No. Kay kita nga mga kanang Filipino, we have this kanang kuan jud nga kanang kung unsay trends kay mo imitate dayon ta. So, kanang how much more ang mga kanang famous words. Language is a cultural component which can be described as a cultural communicating system that is used by people of a particular country in order to convey their purpose. So we all know that the language is the medium of communication. So we can't communicate verbally if kanang there is no language. So only we kanang non-verbal communication ang atong magamit if there is no language. So, according to Larson, language is defined as a complex set of skewed relationship between meaning, semantic, and form, lexicon, and grammar. So, unsa man ni ang semantic? So, semantic relating semantic is relating to meaning in language or logic, while lexical meaning is dominant in content words, whereas grammatical meaning is dominant in functional words. How pop culture affects language. Language is rooted in culture, and culture is reflected and passed on by language from generation to the next. So, ang language is kanang mapass gyud siya through generation to generation kay mo man ni siya ang atong gigamit para maka-communicate ta. So kanang language is used to maintain and convey culture and cultural ties, and it is affected by the pop culture on the society. So through the through the trend or the pop culture kanang nagay evolution sa language nga nakitabo through generation to generation. There are some important elements of pop culture such as multimedia, films and books, religion, sports and Olympics, tourism, exchange and business which affects language. So diri mo ni ang kani siya nga mga elements, mo ni siya ang mga naka-affect sa atong language kay diri nga kani nga mga elements diri ta possible nga ma-influence og mga kanang famous words.
So now I am going to discuss about the pop culture's influence on language. Pop culture is not a passive consumer of language. It actively shapes it. So, sa kanina statement, it means na ang pop culture wala ra absorb or ga-use sa language as it is. Instead, ang pop culture, it actively influences and changes language through its use sa mga slang, phrases, references, and new terminology. Ang ganing pop culture tungod sa iyang widespread reach and influence, nakakontribute ni siya sa evolution and adaptation of language by introducing new words, altering meanings, and impacting communication norms. New words and phrases emerge and gain popularity through various media forms. Like mo popularize ni siya through movies, TV shows, music, and social media. And then if gani na mga media forms nag-showcase og certain expressions, terms, or slang, if makakuha gani ni og attention sa tao nya mauto mo spread dayon siya, mahimo na ning part sa everyday language sa tao na nigamit ani due to its exposure and influences ngadto sa audience. So we have an example here. The term bando, referring to an abandoned house, gained traction due to Atlanta rapper Future. Similarly, That Way became a trendy phrase thanks to the Atlanta-based rap group Migos. So, ang kaning bando and That Way, mga slang term ni sila nagigamit ani mga musicians sa ilahang music. Then, nakakot dayon nig attention sa ilahang mga fans. Niya mao to ni trend dayon siya using ato mga media forms, especially ato sa mga younger audiences and to the hip-hop community. And eventually, nahimo na ni siyang part of their everyday language. Then, this linguistic evolution isn't confined to English or the US. Globally, pop culture phenomena introduce new words and phrases, enriching languages and promoting cross-cultural understanding. For instance, the Korean wave or Hallyu has introduced terms like K-pop and K-drama to the global lexicon. This means na ang influence sa pop culture sa language kay dili ra limited sa specific language or country, kundi ni-extend ni siya globally, introducing new words and phrases that transcend borders and enrich language worldwide. For example, ang kaning Korean wave known as Hallyu, it has popularized terms like K-pop and K-drama. Diba ang pagsikat ani kani beyond man sa South Korea. Like niabot pa ni siya worldwide parehas nato sa Philippines na ilahatang na-influence and na-adapted nato ang ilahang culture. Dili ra sa the way sila mo dressed or sa ilahang styles, kundi sa ilahapong language. Nya mao to karon sa ato ang mga posting sa social media or sa ato ang informal communication, ato na nagamit ang uban sa mga Korean words like para sa anang kwensya na, which means okay, and 감사합니다, which means thank you. So mao to no, ang pop culture is naka-influence jud siya sa language. So for the next topic, I will give you to Miss Mary Claire Suarez.
Impact on language and communication. In this topic, matakol na ito ang unsa man dyan ang mga different impact on language and communication. So, pop culture profoundly impacts language and communication, shaping how we speak, write, and interact. So, ang pop culture rather, kay nato ang language and communication and gi-shape or kung saan the way we write and we interact. So it introduces new words, phrases, and expressions that quickly became part of our everyday vocabulary. So ga-introduce po na siya mga new words, mga slang words, mga memes, mga new phrases, mga trending kayo. Then, from slang to memes, malapit akong lingon, and social media platforms to television shows, pop culture created a language that constantly evolves, and pop culture also influences how we communicate. So one example of pop culture's influence on language is the use of emojis. So as we all know, emojis is kanang iba naman na sa cellphone or any other gadgets ay emoji. So these small digital images have become integrated to online communication. So ang kanang emoji kay kana man ang mga unsay ato ang feelings karong adlaw, lipay ba ka, nasad ba ka, na surprise ba ka, naguol ba ka, visually representing our feelings and thoughts. So another example is the increased number of slang words and phrases that have become mainstream through pop culture. So another example is kanang mga slang words, kanang mga memes, kanang kakuan naman tarang mga memes, no? Tama na sa kanang Facebook, uso man kay na. Then terms like clit on flick and woke have entered the tracing lexicon, tracing their origins to popular songs, TV, and social media.
Examples of impact of pop culture and language. The first is adaptation of acronyms such as LOL, BRB, and SLR. So familiar man kay tani no? Magamit man tani nga mga words kay hilig man kay tani. Samot na kay mga millennials, hilig kay magamit og mga acronyms. Next is symbolic language. So, kanang symbolic language kanang mga items, symbols, or gestures associated with pop culture. Kanang example ani kay kanang pag-use na og mga emojis. Ano siya? Diba ang kanang emoji kay naman man taan na og sa ato ang feelings, malipayon ba to or kanang happiness. Next is influence on tone. So, the tone and style of are often influenced by the prevailing sentiments, attitudes in pop culture. So, kanading the way we speak po, influence po din sa pop culture. Diba kasagaran kay na may mga tao nga ang inistoryahan kay hinay pero nasuko na dito na uban nga pinasing ka ang tingog nya kanang normal ra dito gatukod nasuko na normal ra dito mga man ana ba. Next is kanang trendy phrases and kanang mga slang words. So popular catchphrases or trendy from pop culture quickly became part of our conversations reflecting current societal interest. So kanang such as kanang paggamit nato og mga words nga kanang mga lodi, tara, erpat, ermat. So common kay na siya nga mga languages terms of kanang mustoryata. Labi na og kanang mga batan hilig man kay magamit na mga millennials, hilig kay mga Gen Z, hilig kay gamit na nga mga words, diba? Kay mo man ay uso karon.
So, in addition, pop culture has also significantly influenced the way we communicate through technology. So the rise of social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter has created a new space for people to communicate and express themselves. So these platforms haven't only changed how we communicate and the speed and the tone of our communication. So in addition, pop culture kay dako siya og influensya sa the way ta communicate gamit ang technology. So kung mayroon tag technology, mo siya ang nakapa-high-tech nato karon generation which is sayon kaning easy ra nato maki-communicate labi ang atong i-communicate kay dili gali harap-harapan. Kaya i-communicate ganahan ka i-communicate sa mga kaila, sa siguno. So gamit kayo nato diri ang technology. So gamit kayo diri ang kinatani mga social media. So kasagaran nato mga gamiton na maki-communicate kanang para social media nga Facebook kay naman ay messenger. So diha ta isa kayo nato diha nga baylo-baylo mga mensahe. So pop culture kuno kay kaning dako siya og influensya sa ato ang pag-communicate gamit ang technology. So kanang gumagamit og technology mo ni siya ang kanang galing atong mga atong mga gipanggamit karon nga makapasayon na lang sa ato ang gusto nga pangbuhaton. So pop culture significantly impacts language and communication by creating new words, expression, and mode of expression. So it influences how we communicate primarily online and provides a way of connection and understanding between different cultures and communities. So pop culture kay dako po siya impact sa ato ang lengguwahe kung mo man ay kanang kumayong tag communication. So di magina ma-complete ang communication of walay language pod. So diri ang pop culture pod kay dako po impact sa ato ang mga expression and modes of expression. So kada expression kay magdepende pud ni kung kinsa ato mga kakuyog or magdepende ni siya sa atong environment. So pop culture it influence how we communicate primarily online. So diri naka-state na gid nga ang pop culture kay ga-influence gid siya sa ato ang pag-communicate gid labi na sa online. So kumintag online gamit ani niya kay technology.
So, what language is used in popular culture in the Philippines? So, Tagalog and Cebuano are the most commonly spoken native languages, together comprising about half of the population of the Philippines. Only Filipino and English are official languages and are taught in schools.
So, mostly sa mga Filipino language nga mas nisikat gyud kay ang kanang kuan, for example kan Lodi, Verpa, kana siya kanang idol, kanang power tas gibali ra siya ug kanang uban pa.
So, in conclusion, the connection between language and pop culture is like a two-way street where both influence each other. In the Philippines, our language, like Tagalog or Filipino, adapts and changes alongside the trends and influences in pop culture. This interaction shows how our way of speaking and expressing ourselves is lively part of the ever-changing world around us. Furthermore, pop culture really shapes our language. When we use slangs, trendy expressions, and new ways of saying things from movies or social media, it's like our language is evolving right along with what's happening in our world. This mix of language and pop culture isn't just a cool way to talk, it's how our language stays alive and connected to who we are, even as the things keeps on changing around us. It shows that our language is flexible and can grow over time, thanks to the influence of pop culture. That's all for our reporting, and we hope that you all have learned something from our discussion. Thank you.